You are not a bad parent. Let me say that again because you need to hear it. You are not a bad parent. But something is happening in your home right now, something quiet and invisible, something that nobody warned you about, and it is shaping your child in ways you cannot yet see. And the worst part? It started long before your child was even born. Here is the truth that most parenting advice completely skips over. The way you parent your child today is not really coming from you. It is coming from your parents, and their parents before them. It is a chain of invisible habits, reactions, emotional patterns, and unspoken rules that have been passed down through your family for generations. You did not choose these patterns, you inherited them. And right now, without even realizing it, you are handing them to your child. And that thought alone should stop you in your tracks. Picture this. You have had a long day, you are exhausted. Your child does something that frustrates you, maybe they will not listen, maybe they throw a tantrum, maybe they break something, and suddenly something comes out of your mouth that sounds exactly like something your own parent used to say to you. Words you swore you would never say. A tone you promised yourself you would never use, and for a split second you freeze, because you recognize it. And you hate it. That moment right there is not a failure. That moment is the beginning of awareness, and awareness is where everything changes. But here's what most people do in that moment. They feel shame, they feel guilt, they tell themselves they are broken. They wonder why they keep repeating patterns they hate. And then nothing changes because shame without strategy is just suffering. That is exactly why we put together something for parents who are serious about actually breaking this cycle. Not just understanding it intellectually, but rewiring it at the root. There is a program linked in the description below this video. It is not for everyone. If you are comfortable with the way things are, if you feel like everything is fine and this video does not resonate with you at all, then it is probably not for you. But if something in your chest tightened when I described that moment, if you felt seen, if you felt a little scared about what patterns your child might already be absorbing, then you need to look at that link before you close this video. The parents who are on the other side of this transformation did not wait. They decided the discomfort of changing was smaller than the cost of staying the same. Now let me show you exactly what is at stake. Research in developmental psychology is very clear. Children do not learn primarily from what you tell them. They learn from what they witness. Every single day your child is watching you like a scientist. They are studying how you handle conflict. They are absorbing how you speak to your partner when you are angry. They are filing away how you react when something does not go your way. They are cataloging whether love in your home feels safe or conditional. And they are building their entire emotional foundation on what they observe. Now stop for a second and think about your own childhood. Think about the moments that shaped you. Not the big obvious things, the small quiet ones, the way a parent went silent instead of talking things through, the way disagreements were handled with yelling instead of words, the way affection was withheld as punishment, the way achievement was celebrated but emotions were dismissed, the way you were told to stop crying when what you actually needed was to be held. You grew up. You became an adult. You told yourself you had moved past it. But trauma and patterns do not disappear. They go underground. And they resurface the moment you become responsible for someone else. This is what generational trauma actually looks like. It is not always dramatic. It is not always visible. Sometimes it is the way you cannot sit in silence with your child's emotions without trying to fix or stop them. Sometimes it is the way you minimize your child's feelings without meaning to. Sometimes it is the way you work endlessly but struggle to just be present. Sometimes it is the way love in your home sounds like criticism disguised as concern. And your child is learning all of it. Here is the number that should wake you up. Studies show it takes 3 to 5 generations to fully shift a deeply embedded family pattern without intentional intervention. 3 to 5 generations. That means without conscious effort, the emotional wound you carry could still be present in your grandchildren's children. The ripple of what you do or do not do right now reaches further than you can possibly imagine. But here is the flip side. And this is the part that makes everything worth fighting for. When you break a generational pattern, that shift also travels through generations. Healing is just as contagious as wounding. One parent who does the work, one parent who decides that the chain stops here, can rewrite the emotional blueprint of an entire family line. That is not an exaggeration. That is neuroscience. That is attachment theory. That is real. And you are that parent. You are the one watching this video right now. You are the one who already feels the pull to be different. That matters more than you know. But let me be honest with you about how hard this actually is, because I am not going to sell you some fantasy that awareness alone changes everything. There is a moment, a very specific and brutal moment, when you realize you have to go back before you can go forward. You have to look at your own childhood, not with blame, not with resentment, but with clear eyes. You have to see the moments where you did not get what you needed, where the adults around you were doing their best but their best was still not enough, where you learn to survive emotionally in ways that worked then but are damaging to your child now. That process is uncomfortable. It is grief. It is the grief of what you deserved and did not get, and you have to hold that grief while still showing up fully for your child every single day. That is one of the hardest things a human being can do. But the parents who do it, the ones who actually go through that discomfort, they describe something on the other side that is almost impossible to put into words. They describe a kind of lightness, a feeling of finally being free. The moment their child comes to them upset, and instead of shutting it down or panicking, they can just be there. Fully present, steady, safe, and they see their child's face relax into trust, and something in their own chest heals at the same time. That is what breaking a generational pattern actually feels like in real life. It is not a dramatic announcement. It is a quiet Tuesday evening where something that used to trigger a spiral just does not anymore. It is your child looking at you differently. It is the relationship you never got but always wanted finally existing right in front of you, with your own child. Now, let me give you the most powerful tool you can start using today. It is called the pause and the pivot. Every time you feel a reactive emotion rising, which is the familiar heat of a pattern about to repeat, before you respond, you pause. Just 3 seconds. You breathe. You ask yourself one question. Is this response coming from who I want to be, or from who I was taught to be? And then you choose. You pivot toward intention. That single skill, practiced consistently, is the beginning of everything. The families who have completely transformed their dynamics talk about how the pause felt impossible at first. They say it felt awkward, artificial, like they were fighting against something primal. But within weeks, that pause became automatic, and within months, the pattern that had lived in their family for decades was simply gone. Gone. Think about what that means for your child's future. Think about the conversations your child will have with their own children someday. Think about the relationship your child will build as an adult. Think about the way they will handle conflict, love, grief, failure, and success. All of that is being written right now, in your home, by the patterns you either choose to keep or choose to change. The cost of not doing this work is not just your child's childhood. It is their adulthood. It is their relationships. It is possibly their own child's childhood. The cost is time, connection, peace, and the version of your family that could exist but never gets to. The investment of doing this work, measured not in money but in emotional return, is incalculable. The research shows that children raised in emotionally regulated homes are significantly more likely to have stable relationships, stronger mental health outcomes, higher academic performance, and better emotional intelligence. These are not small things. These are the building blocks of an entire life. You already know all of this in your gut. That is why you are still watching. That is why this landed the way it did. You are not here by accident. You are here because something in you is ready. And that readiness is the rarest and most valuable thing in the world. Most people never get there. Most people stay comfortable. Most people let the patterns continue because change is hard and the status quo feels easier, until the day it does not. But you are different. You have already proven that by staying until this moment. The program in the description below this video is built for exactly where you are right now. It is for the parent who is done identifying the problem and ready to actually solve it. It is for the parent who understands that every week that passes is another week of patterns being absorbed. Time is not neutral in parenting. Every single day either reinforces a cycle or dismantles one. Most parents who find this resource say the same thing afterward. They say they wish they had found it sooner. They say the shift happened faster than they expected. They say their relationship with their child changed in ways they had stopped believing were possible. If that is what you want, the link is right there below this video. Not tomorrow, right now. Your child's emotional blueprint is being written this very moment, and you are the only one holding the pen.